I
Whoa.
don't feel so good.
You okay
My
there, Splat,
stomach.
old buddy?
Oh.
Hey there, guy. Remember how Splat ate my pages and thought he destroyed me? Well, I'm in control of the little meatball now, and he's gonna eat his way through the hull and destroy the retro station. Sorry, pal, but I'm an evil tome of death and demonic energy. I gotta be me.
No way! I better go warn Commander Dan.
Go ahead. It's hysterical when mortals know their doom's coming.
What an a-hole.
Get upset on the internet. You're assaulted.
Hi everybody, welcome to Retro Station 1989. I'm Commander Dan, the commander and lone human inhabitant of the Retro Station. Now this is License to Play, where we review licensed games. That's games based on movies or TV shows, comic books, superheroes, sometimes breakfast cereal mascots, and sometimes fast food mascots. Let's just say, if they made a licensed retro game about a licensed property, we evaluate it. We give it its license to play. So this week,
Boss, we got a problem. A serious problem.
Whoa, what's wrong there, little buddy? Another anomaly threatening space and time? An evil version of me hopping in and hogging all the TP in the bathroom?
I don't know, Commander. Would Splat being possessed by the eldritch presence of the malevolent Necronomicon be considered super spooky?
Yes. Very much yes. Dude, Margot, how's this possible? Are you messing with me again?
No, Commander. I'm not sure how Splat would be mentally dominated, having zero brains to speak of. But since he's a graphical anomaly brought to life by our replicators, perhaps the hologrammatic Necronomicon I created in jest has somehow grafted itself onto his personality matrix.
That's scary.
It is definitely cause for alarm.
Well, yeah, but I was referring to the fact that I understood perfectly what you just said. I think I'm becoming a nerd.
Heaven forbid, Commander.
Does this mean that he's really possessed or just think he's possessed?
I don't think it matters. If we can convince him he's clear of evil spirits.
Well, he is very dumb. Who could we get to convince a little tater tot he's not bedeviled by the world's most annoying book?
I know.
Okay. Alright, Cambot, then you get on that while we get this show on the road and dive into our most recent evaluation.
Licensed games have a bad reputation. I know they do because I write this show and played them growing up, and still try to play the big ones when they come out, but the retro collector scene is filled with people who shun licensed titles out of hand, and it begins with the Nintendo Entertainment System, and a single company. LJN. See? Spooky. But LJN's a misunderstood monster. They're not a bunch of jerks trying to make terrible games, just a bunch of people who wanted to make licensed products and didn't know a heck of a lot about video game production. They just knew that the Nintendo Entertainment System was the hottest toy on the market, and when it came to toys, LJN knew how to sell toys with a license attached. And since Nintendo was selling the NES as a toy, it was a match made in heaven. Or hell. Actually, like a lot of things, it was a mixed bag. I've argued for two of the more notorious titles LJN produced for the NES, Friday the 13th and Jaws, and gave them both licenses to play. It's not as simple as I love the franchises these games were based on, because Jaws is based on what was scientifically proven to be the worst Jaws flick ever made. It's considered a war crime against sharks in 90% of the nations participating in the UN's Geneva Convention. It's worse than nerve gas or serrated bayonets. So, LJN gets a lot of crap from the gaming community, and we all know why, so I won't reiterate it. AVGN. But does it deserve it? Yeah, probably. I mean, I found nuggets of gold panning in the LJN river of toxic mediocrity, but so many of LJN's attempts at pushing out licensed software were misguided or malformed. I'm comfortable calling them, they're the uncrowned title of championship level laughin' jokin' numbnuts. We're talking Hulk Hogan crossed with a chimp with learning disabilities level of dipshittery here. Let's count a couple prime steamers LJN plopped onto store shelves. The Uncanny X-Men, This game should be used in whatever trial they put LJN to in the video game Afterlife as Exhibit A, that they were trying to make children cry. From graphics to gameplay to sound. It's terrible in a way that only retro gamers can appreciate. Back to the Future 2 and 3. This game was like getting a puzzle from your parents as a gift, and when you complete it, it spells out the terms of how they're disowning you and leaving you with the orphanage from Oliver Twist. And these are just 2 examples of their heinous behavior. But there are even more out there, folks. And folks, today's example is as notorious as any of those.
So, we can get you on screen to help us out? That's great. We need someone with your particular set of skills. Margot? Ma'am?
Yes, Cambot Jr.?
I think I have a solution to our splat problem. Can we prep the communication systems to receive a video/audio session from PlanetSide?
Affirmative, Cambot. I hope that you are correct, that this person can assist us with our current problem.
I hope he will, and from what I've seen, it couldn't hurt.
I agree, Cambot, but I have reservations about this particular human's assistance.
Beetlejuice! Yeah, well, we're talking about this infamous Nintendo title, and I gotta say, I had high hopes of, it'd be interesting at least, at the very least. Maybe even a hidden sandwich, among the piles of generic cornflakes LJN was stacking up in those days, but while I did come to a conclusion on this title, maybe not the most popular conclusion, let's just see why this property got a licensed game in the first place by examining the property itself. Tim Burton. This guy was the flavor of the 90s. The dyed black chocolate icing on a very dense cake of ironic detachment, slacker-ass attitude, and a meringue of self-consciousness that created a whole genre of person. The goth. They, of course, evolved and branched out into so many diverse and different styles and brands of weirdness. The emo, the screamo, the indie rock kid, the scenester. But in the 90s, it was just called being goth. And every goth got in their beginner's Gothic kit a $50 gift certificate to Hot Topic, a Smiths or The Cure CD, a Sylvia Plath collection they'll reference but never read, and a pack of Clove cigarettes. And 2 movies. One, Edward Scissorhands, and the other, this guy. Tim Burton's filmography includes fun cult classics like Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Frankenweenie. But the 90s brought us the goth classics, The Corpse Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas, springing forth from the darkest take on Batman the world had ever seen up until this point, and of course, another Michael Keaton masterpiece, which is what we're going to go into today. That's right, we're evaluating Beetlejuice. Is anyone else hearing that? For the Nintendo Entertainment System by LJN. Anyway, Beetlejuice was produced by LJN for the NES in 1992 and was met with skepticism on the part of fans, and speaking from my experience at any rate, real skepticism because it's an LJN title. The game was hot on the heels of a torrent of gray water inhabiting clumps of solid lard coagulate like Gotcha and Uncanny X-Men. So, speaking as a fan of video games, we were very skeptical. And yet, think about this license though. Couldn't LJN find it in themselves to rock just one time? Especially with a game based on a rad movie like this one. And if you never caught this classic, let's take a look at what I'm talking about. This is the movie Beetlejuice, as Alec Baldwin's character calls him when he finds the card, for the one and only ghost with the most, the afterlife of the party, and the only known bioexorcist in all of the lands of the dead. See, Barbara and Adam Maitland were a simple country couple living in the Connecticut countryside. A kindly couple dedicated to living the simple life, who dodge a doggo in the street and end up in the drink. That's right, they ended up dead. The Maitlands are out of the picture permanently, and into their quaint home move the living landmines of 80s yuppie culture, the Dietzes. Charles, an investment banker, moved to the country to recover from stress-related illness, his wife Delia, and his daughter Lydia from his first marriage, the strange and unusual girl who sees ghosts. Delia and Otho, her interior decorating pal, destroy the simple country home of the Maitlands for what appears to be a museum of the tacky-wacky modern art Delia inflicts on the world rather than deal with her own psychological and emotional problems. The ghosts of the Maitlands, of course, are horrified, and the Maitlands fail to terrify the Dietz family, instead entertaining them and convincing Charles to open a sort of supernaturally themed sideshow which would destroy not only the Maitlands' quaint home, but ravage the quaint country town they are living in. Enter Michael Keaton's character, who I won't name here because there are crazy rules for the dude, and I don't want to summon any more freaky-deaky dingbats aboard the retro station. Let's just say this guy shows up and uses his evil, wacky, gross, and fun powers to dominate and destroy the Dietzes and their yuppie brood of clothes-horse fashionable greed monsters, including Robert Goulet and an extra dry Dick Cavett, and finally sending Otho into hysterics by damning him to polyester hell, until he becomes this guy in the far-flung future, and a real weirdo there too. But of course, there's a catch. Old BJ can't come to our world and work his magic unless he gets married, and he's chosen young Lydia Dietz to be his bride. This movie is in turns hysterical, spooky, weird, sad, and romance for the ages. It's one of the world's best sick-at-home movies, one you can watch again and again while you're curled up with a bowl of hot soup and nursing some kind of an illness. And so, if this is the great source material, the prime choice source material, surely a video game would have to do almost nothing to be great, right? Right? This is going to be a good video game, right? Uh-oh. He braved the ghoulish garage. He survived the haunted high school. And now, professional ghost botherer and paranuisance, Dooch Baggins is taking his abilities beyond the beyond, with this episode of Dooch Baggins Spooky Space. I am Dooch Baggins, and I am a paranuisance. Today, I am told that a young man has been paralyzed and possessed by something more evil than Annabelle, more deadly than the Dybbuk box, and more scary than my high school halls where Derek Jenkins, my bully, would be walking through looking for my lunch money. Aboard a space station high in orbit, all of this drama is taking place, and I am their only, best, and last hope. Are you there, Commander Dan?
Oh, you! This is who we got? Cambot Jr.?
He's the only one I've seen with experience in these things, and he's uniquely qualified, Commander.
Right, because he's twice as full of shit as old Splat is, thinking he's possessed. Brilliant move, CB Jr.
Thanks, boss.
So this Mr. Baggins is a charlatan? Computing. It would not harm Splat, and since Dooch Baggins is as powerless as he is cowardly, and will not be for this venture, no one is in danger of accidentally breaking anything aboard the retro station. I approve.
My friends, I am ready to bother the hell out of your ghost. Possessed kid. Whatever. Where is he?
He's in his room, possessed by the Necronomicon. You know, the Book of the Dead bound in flesh and written in the blood of virgin sacrifices, with the profane writings of the Dark Ones on every page? And some sketches? You know the book, right?
Yeah, that's... Wait, blood?
Yup. So, let me connect you to the feed to Splat's room so you can do whatever you do, the paranuisance and the ghost bothering and all that. Alright? Have fun!
No, but I just want... Oh, wow. Dooch Baggins. I love your shows. How you pretend to talk to the dead. Well, how would you like a treat, buddy? You don't scare me. I have the power of ESP. ESP was handed down to me as a gift from my mother. I was Flodo. She's in here with us. If you're my late mother's spirit, prove it.
Ooh, stop being a dick. You're annoying all the dead people. I once caught you jacking your Johnny cakes to an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Holy crap, it is my mom. Ah! Camera off, camera off.
Well, shit.
It was a good thesis, Cambot Jr. Don't take it so hard. Also, you couldn't have possibly guessed at how gigantic a coward he would turn out to be.
No, you're right. Looks like we're going to have to take care of this ghoulie problem the only way I know how. We fight fire with fire.
Commander, shouldn't we fight fire with water?
Yeah, if we're a bunch of punk-ass wussies, but we're awesome. So here it is. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice for the NES.
It's showtime! So, hey, your little meatball I gotta, unpossess, is that right?
Oh, look who it is. It's Beeblebrox.
Alright, how about you let the little tater tot go, and we'll settle this like a couple of gentlemen, huh?
Oh, I don't think so. I like it in here. And soon, I will destroy all of the retro station. Sorry, pal.
Look, don't make me get rough with you, pal. Just vamoose and we'll call it a day.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
How's this?
Ah, that's terrifying! What happened?
What happened? You were possessed by the chewed up remains of the Necronomicon in your gut, so we called on the hologram of Beetlejuice to scare it the hell out of you. And because you're kind of dumb and believe in that crap, it worked!
Hooray! Hooray for my dumbness!
Indeed. Okay, let's bring this one home by diving into Beetlejuice by LJN for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Beetlejuice for the NES was designed by Rare and is based on the film of the same name. Programmed by Paul Machacek and music by the legendary David Wise. The game is... The game's a game, technically. You know, I'd be remiss in my job if I didn't mention the fact that there was a very successful cartoon that this game could have been based on. But it wasn't. It was Rare trying to create a cartoon version of the film elements, and it ended up creating this. Look, don't get me wrong, this game does what it says it's going to do on the box. I mean, it's a plastic cartridge that can be shoved into an NES and will make things appear on the screen that sort of look like a Beetlejuice and a bug and a house and a squid and some other crap. But look at this face. It's like Rare could barely convince the pixels to coagulate to sort of look like Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Look, I try to be fair with the games that I've played on this show. You know that. But that's usually because I played them when I was age appropriate or played them at the time they came out. This game came out when I was a sophomore in high school and more enthralled with the Genesis. Or kind of more thirsty for the SNES, the sound, the graphics, the gameplay. Look at this thing. The advancements of Super Mario World. An NES game would have to do more than this one manages to try to do to get my attention, much less make me like it. And it's not like there weren't spooky but funny licenses out there. Ocean made Addams Family for the SNES, which wasn't exactly setting the world on fire with kick-ass gameplay, but it was clearly Gomez Addams and the Addams Family house and Addams Family stuff. It was Addams Family, see? Now, you tell me what part of the cartoon or movie this nonsense is. I dare you to try. Yeah, that's what I thought. See? Beetlejuice does crap at random. And if you think it's because I haven't read the manual that I don't get what's going on, well, all right, buddy, let's read it together. First, it's all written as if Beetlejuice is giving you advice. And like many games of its ilk, it hides what actually happens in the game by showing you drawings instead of screenshots. And boy, howdy does it lean into the Beetlejuice style of writing to distract you from the fact that you're not really trying to get rid of the Deetzes and kick them out of the house. You're using something called scares to get other ghosts and demons and crap and squids out of the house. I know, it's the NES. But there's a game that does exactly what this game should have done. I mean, the movie, it's gross, hilarious, caustic, has a snarky sense of humor and fun that is completely lost under these flat brown and puke-colored graphics. And they're gross, but that makes it gross in a gross way, not in a fun way. The game I'm referencing here, of course, was for the Sega Genesis and was called Haunting, starring Poltergeist. Same deal, Ghost wants to get the annoying family out of the house. And check this out. It's like all this thing needs is a reskin using Beetlejuice. Oh, gross. And here, so scary, the people piss their pants. Now that is a Beetlejuice game. And this, I gotta say, this has a look, kinda. It has a pretty kickin' soundtrack, but it leaves us all baffled with questions like, who thought this was good enough? Who programmed this thing? And moreover, one very important question remains. So, does Beetlejuice by LJN have a license to play? No. No way. Not a chance in hell. No, this game is 9 pounds of cat vomit in an 8-pound bag. It's terrible. And what's scary is that it's by the people who made games like Battletoads and Solar Jetman and Banjo-Kazooie, for crying out loud. That's rare, and that's too spooky for my blood, man, to see them sink this low. So, sorry, Beetlejuice. I wish you could hang with your contemporaries, having a license to play and get a recommendation from us and all of that, but I gotta break it to you. You're terrible. Folks, that's it for Halloween Horror Month. We had a blast, and hope that you did too, getting all the candy that you could possibly grab and having the spookiest time of the year every year. We come back, we're going to be doing Halloween Horror Month. Now, November has some major surprises ahead, so you better get your little self ready. But in the meantime, feel free to like the video if you liked it. And if you didn't, just shut up. You don't have to talk all the time. Nobody cares about your opinion. Jeez, be so negative. Throw me a like. Or if you want to know when I'm doing this again, hit subscribe. And remember, more than anything on that level, more than anything like that, remember to always, always stay retro.
Get upset
Peace.
on the internet. You're assault adult. You're assault adult. Get upset on the internet. You're assault adult. Throwing out a hissy fit, your views ain't in the millions, and every up and comer is a threat to what you're dealing. And instead of getting better, you just spout up on your Facebook, crying on your Twitter bit about how bad your case look. In case you didn't get it yet, allow me to rephrase it. Your grandmother, my 4-year-old, I'm actually a